All right.
Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for joining this little session today, where Anne and I, Jane, will tell you a little bit about the journey that we have had into the export market, and especially with focus on the Nordic region. So, Anne and I started the company back in 2005. Legeakademiet actually means play academy in English. So we started the web shop where we would focus on educational toys, which has to develop the child either physically or mentally. This shop we have worked on and continuously growth since 2005. And today we are still a 100% online store. We are located now in 6 countries. We have almost 8,000 items in our store. Last year we had 300,000 orders, which led to a turnover of about 18 million euros.
So I'm sorry, I have a little cold, but I will try and not cough into the microphone. The concept of Legeakademiet or Toy Academy that we call ourselves south of the border is very strict in the concept. So we have very strict criteria for choosing our products, and we have a very different way of communicate. We have chosen this from 2005 from the beginning because our belief is that if you are online and you are like most other companies, then nobody will remember you. So the criteria of choosing products is that, as Jane said, it needs to develop body or brain. Also, the quality is very high. We don't compare our products with, for example, Timo, where the quality is very low, so our quality is very high. Also, our toy is not the first choice of children, it is the first choice of parents. So it needs parents to engage the child, so it's like experiments. It is toys that develop mathematics skills, alphabetic, language-wise, and so on. So it's not the first choice of the child, it's the first choice of the parents. Also, it needs to stimulate curiosity. So, as an example, if we need to be innovative.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we need to be a society that develops all the time, we also need to be curious. So our toy is also developing the curiosity from the parents and also for the children. Also, a big category for our toy is special needs toy. So it's toy that is to children with diagnoses as ADHD, autism, ADD, and like that, as fidget toys. We have very strong opinion and we have a very strong communication in Denmark and also in the countries that we have entered. This is also a way for people to know who we are. If you are a physical store, you can tell the customers about your opinions, about your communication, but as an online store, you need, as what we believe, to be a little bit more strong in your communication. So as an example, we are saying that you need to beat your child in a board game. You need to learn your child. The child needs to lose. The child needs to know how to lose because we're going to lose a lot of times in our lives. We all know that as adults. But as a child, it's very important to know how to lose because then you are taught how to rise yourself afterwards. Also, we are saying that the dirtier the child comes home from kindergarten, from daycare, the more they have learned. So the more they have developed their body and also their brain because it's hanging together. We are also not saying that anything is a boy toy or a girl toy. We are not going into gender. We are believing that boys should play with dolls, girls should play with Lego. It's not a gender discussion. Also, the quality, because we have so high quality, we are a lot into sustainability. So the toy that you can pass on to the next child and so on is the best toy. So we don't want, a lot of companies are selling, like Timo is selling toys that cannot be passed on to the next child. So this is one of the things that we also communicate. We also, as an example, saying that the child should fall and bleed from their knee. The child should race a bike and fall and bleed. It is not because we don't believe that it's that we feel sorry for the child, but it's just very important that we do not put cottons all around our children. That the child should fall and know what the next development stage is. Also, we almost never do discounts on our shop. And this is also to be true to what we believe in. We believe that we are in a mission. We are on a mission to develop children. We're on a mission to learn, to teach parents how to develop their children. If we're just selling out all the time, then we are showing our customers that we don't believe in our own mission. So discounts in our web shop is very seldom.
So, our business has been growing since 2005, but when it really took a steeper curve into the growing was when we started exporting. And it actually took us 12 years before we were going on to the first export markets. The decision was to go into the Norwegian market in 2017. And the reason for choosing Norway, which is one of the most difficult countries in the Nordic region, was that a lot of Norwegian customers was doing online shopping in Denmark. In 2020, we added the rest of the Nordic countries in the region, Finland and Sweden, and we were able to do both countries in 1 year, both due to the uplift of the corona that we had, but also because we sold part of our business to a bigger company who was then taking care of the logistic and distribution, which we had earlier focused a lot on in our business. The last few years, we've been going south of the border to Holland. The reason we choose Holland is that it's e-commerce-wise, the customers are looking a lot like the Danes in their buying behavior and in the culture. Germany, we added last year. First, we thought we wouldn't go into Germany. It's such a shark-filled water. It's a very competitive market with focus on price and a lot of marketplaces. However, with a market with 80 million people, we thought we should only have a little part of the playground in order to make a good business. So as you see, due to the export, we have grown a lot within the last 5 years. And today, export is 50% of our total turnover. So, what did we learn going abroad, and what do we think are the keys to the success that we have had? First of all, of course, we need to do some market research. And once we decide for some countries, we always turn to some reports that is we can either get from the local government business organization, from business partners like Makes You Local or Google Insights. That will start giving us a picture of how is the population, how is the buying power, how many is doing e-commerce online shopping. Looking at the Nordic countries or the Nordic region, we're 27 million people. We thought it would be pretty much alike in all countries. We found out it's not. Finland is very different than the rest of the Nordic countries, both because of the language is very different than Danish, Swedish and Norwegian. We understand each other. We don't understand Finnish. The words are much longer, which also took some challenges to our web shop because the buy button is just 3 letters in Danish. It's a lot more in Finnish. So there was some funny learnings along the way that we can't treat 4 countries as one country. Competition-wise, the Nordic region is really not as hit on marketplaces as, for example, some of the Central European countries. Germany being where it very difficult to sell when you're not on a marketplace. Sweden do have Amazon, or does have Amazon. However, it is really not a big competitor to us. First, because what we do in our website is a niche product, so it's different products than Amazon is going for. And also the confidence we build into the product description towards the parents, they get a lot of information and trust dealing directly on our website instead of just going on Amazon or buying a product. So what we've tried to create in Legeakademiet or Play Academy or Toy Academy, as we are called south of the border, is a universe where the parents can visit the website and then learn about the children's need and then be inspired to buy products. Whereas in a market where it's very price competitive, you will look up the product, find the cheapest price and buy. So that's how we can differentiate in a very competitive market.
What we also learned from entering the different Scandinavian countries and also Germany and the Netherlands is that we need to have localized customer service and localized marketing. So our belief is that if you go into a physical store and you are greeted in another language or in English, then you won't be as feel as safe as if you are greeted in your own language. So we have all our web shops localized. We have customer service also sitting in Denmark, taking care of all countries. Also that way we are learning every day what are the demands in the different countries, because you can't deal with another country as we are dealing it in Denmark. So the customer wants different things in the different markets, and we're learning every day from our customer service. Also, we have in our marketing 1 person from each country hired in Denmark, and this is because we are very strong in our communication. It is very important that we are saying it in the right way. As example, in Sweden, in the beginning we had a lot of pink colors as an example on our web shop, and we didn't get any orders in. And as soon as we changed the pink color to just a more neutral, gender neutral color, then the orders began to come in. So this is something that Danes wouldn't react on, Norwegians wouldn't react on it, but the Swedes are reacting on it. Also, when we are communicating all the very tough communication things that we are saying in Denmark, we need to have it cultural translated into the things that we can say in Sweden, Norway and Finland. Also, the different places that we are communicating, we have a blog. We have 100,000 readers on this blog in the Scandinavian countries. We have different quizzes. We do, of course, have SoMe. We do have Instagram. We do have different places where we are communicating the same things that we are saying in the normal. When we are communicating normally, we are doing it also on the different channels. We are doing a podcast where we are stimulating curiosity through learning more so that the children and the parents can learn more about whales, birds, hurricanes, stuff like that. So we have different channels supporting the shop of our niche products, but also of the things that we're saying. When it comes to logistics and distribution, it is also very important that the customer feels that they are dealing with, as in Norway, a Norwegian company. So the distribution time is very important in all countries. Also, the choice of payment methods, the choice of freight methods needs to be something that they know from other companies in the same country. So this is also in Denmark, as an example, we have 1 to 2 delivery days. In Sweden and Norway, we have 1 to 3. So if they are based in Oslo in Norway, then they know they will get the order, within 1 or 2 days. If they are in north part of Norway or Sweden, then they know it will take 3 days, but it will never take longer than that. So that's also very important, what we found out in the different channels.
And another thing I just want to add is that when we go into a new market, we register for tax. So we pay tax in the country that we are selling into. That gives the customer a feeling of that we are a Norwegian or Swedish or Finnish or German company. And especially in Sweden, they can be a little bit, is it unfair to buy from a foreign company? Because then you don't add to the social security in Sweden. But we do, because we do pay the taxes in Sweden.
So we have VAT numbers in all countries, and we also have a local address that they believe that we're sitting in. We're not actually sitting there, but there's a company sitting there taking all the mails and then sending them to us.
Yeah. So everything is based north of Copenhagen, except our warehouse, which is in the other part of Denmark. So everything is handled from Denmark. So when succeeding in export, it's not only giving you a higher turnover. What we've also learned is that, of course, the more orders, it's helping our business in general. So more orders is better buying power at our suppliers. We can now buy entire containers directly from the factories, which we could not when we only had the Danish markets. So the whole economy of scale in our office in north of Copenhagen, when we hire a Swedish person, normally that Swedish person would also be able to do some tasks in our office in Danish or in Norwegian. So another thing is that you will add to the business on other levels than just the turnover.
Also, being in the different markets make us not as vulnerable. When the market goes down in Denmark, then we can go into the Swedish market or the Norwegian market looking at, are there any buttons that we can turn on the machinery in those different countries. So if we are experiencing the sale going down in one country, there's always a sale going up in another country. So we have a bigger machine and with bigger buttons to turn on every time that something is happening in the market. Also, our brand visibility, we have a brand knowledge of 70% in Denmark, and now it is going up to 35 and 40% in Sweden and Norway. So this way to widen our mission when we started the company, sitting by the table, just Jane and me, saying we want to be the biggest in Scandinavia, then this is actually where we are heading now, 19 years later. Yeah.
Almost. So if you have a scalable business, you should definitely look into export. Maybe also look into exporting to more countries at the same time with the new technology, AI, translation. It's much faster to go to market today than it was when we started the business or when we started exporting back in 17. Even just in 20, there's a huge difference of how fast we can go to the market today compared to a few years ago. So the plan we have is to expand, and then not only in 1, 2, or 3 countries a year, but maybe taking 5 countries in 1 year.
Also, when we're looking at Lithuanian companies, you're actually a lot like us. You have the same color scheme as we have when it comes to toys, also when it comes to mode.
trending.
clothing and so on. So the way your products are, the way they look, the way the quality is, it just seems like within toys, we don't know much about all other things, but within toys, it just seems like Lithuanian and Danes and Swedes and Norwegian that we are looking at the same. It is
some basic values, maybe,
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane.
So 3 key points you should take away if you're not exporting already. Local is important. It's not important. It's very important. So localization of your web shop or the business is main priority. Export will enhance your business. It will give you a lot of other advantages and being able to grow your business in other parameters as well than just adding more turnover. And last, just do it. You can learn along the road. If you have to have everything 100% correct before you start, you'll never do it. So 80% is enough, or 60%.
We normally say that 80% is enough.
Yeah.
Also, Denmark and Lithuania, we are the same size of country. So if you really want to grow, then you need to go outside the border.
Any questions? No? Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. So did you hire consultants for localization to know that, for example, the color is should be for Sweden one and for Finland another? Or did you hire them remotely, or was looking in Denmark just only?
We did a mix. So we worked with Make Sure Local to enter the market first. And once we had the report and they did some initial analysis of the market, we also hired a local person in our office in Copenhagen. Because then you get the advantage of both things. You have one person who also can do other things and understand your business. It was very important for us to have customer service knowing our values of the toys. It's not just a toy car. It's something that develops a child. So it's difficult to have an external customer service, for example. We wanted that customer service in our office. However, translations and things like which payment options and those kind of things, it's nice to get that from the outside.
But it's a good way to start. You don't start by hiring, 5 people to go into Scandinavia and Iceland and Finland. You don't do that. So it's a good way to learn about how should I do it and go to an office that can help you introduce your company in the different markets. Also, they have the experience from other companies. You don't have that. So they can give you a lot of knowledge, from day one. And then when you have started up and when the business has grown and so on, then you can hire your own.
We have a couple more questions from the audience. So the question goes: if there are no discounts shown on your website, what is your marketing plan for entering into new market?
Well, we do discounts, but it's not like every week now you can get 20% off and a welcome rebate of 15%. And, a lot of websites you get overwhelmed by discounts. So we do try to match the prices in the market. We are using a tool called Price Shape. So if it sees some of the very important products for us, we will lower the price to what the competitor has it. Yeah.
But we all know those kinds of web shops that you come in and you've just entered the web shop and then it comes up, do you want our newsletter? You can have 15%. And then you go on and then you can have, there's only 10 more hours, then you can have 25%. And you're just like, what the fuck? I just came in, give me a break. So we don't want to be that kind of web shop. So we want to be the kind of web shop that are telling from the beginning, hey, you're a good parent. You came in here, you want to stimulate your children, you want to, develop your child in a certain direction. That's a good thing for a parent, congratulations. This makes you a better parent.
And also we could do that because we're a niche company. If we were selling high street products like what is trending on the commercials in children's TV, we have a lot harder competition. So,
Right. So next question is regarding the translations working in different markets. So how do you ensure the consistency of meaning between those same message, different languages? How do you ensure that it works the same in every
country,
literally?
Yeah.
Our communication, you mean?
Yeah, your communication, marketing, messaging.
Yeah. So we are in Denmark. It is not normal to say that your child should fall and hurt themselves and bleed from their knees. So we get a lot of attention by saying that. But if we feel that we can stå på mål for det, that we can,
or if we're stepping on someone's toes, we won't say it.
yes,
We will adjust to the.
then we will adjust it. But it's very important that the backbone of Toy Academy, that we are still keeping that on the Dutch market, on the German market and everything. South of the border, it is not that normal that children are sleeping outside like it is in Denmark. They're sleeping outside during the daytime. It's not that normal that the child is out every day getting dirty and everything. But the Danish childhood and the Scandinavian childhood is very trending right now south of the border, so we are tapping a lot into that. So we are trying to find influences, German influences living in Denmark, Dutch influences living in Sweden, trying to do co-working with them, trying to let them tell about what we are saying, and then looking at how are the different customers reacting to their posts. So if it's possible, if it's positive and so on, then we are doing co-operation, co-branding with them. So it's we are feeling, but we are also very self-assured that what we're saying is correct.
Right. And the last question goes, what are the cultural differences Lithuanian e-commerce businesses should have in mind entering Scandinavian markets? What are the must-dos and no-goes?
Well, first of all, you shouldn't speak Lithuanian because nobody understands it. And also not English. It is very important to have it localized. And it's very important that if you're doing it, then you're doing it 100%. So it's not just to open a web shop, see what happens, and then see, how the reaction will be, because then there won't be any reaction. So better take one market at a time instead of doing 5 markets, 30%.
I think the customers in the Nordic region are very conscious of what's going on outside Denmark or Sweden or Norway, and very keen on shopping locally. Most of them, because we also have the problem with Temu and so on. But we have a lot of attention on buying Danish, buying European, buying what is good for your children. You can buy something cheap, but will your child choke? Maybe it's better to pay 10 euros more and your child is safe. So those kind of attention, luckily in our perspective, is taking up a lot of space in the media.
And maybe also not being afraid of standing out, not being afraid of showing who you are, saying that you are a Lithuanian company selling into Sweden or Norway, and why you're doing it, and telling about your success in Lithuania. Because I think the Baltic countries are very much a positive, vibe to the Scandinavian people. We like the Baltics, so it's, yeah.
It's likewise. It's likewise. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.